Hi, folks. Good morning. My name is Theodore Cottingham.com for now. The School of God, where you let God in to be it. Not where you're just embracing an outside concept for you to espouse and hold separate, being the observer and the observed, but being the creator of you again. And the creation process is messy. The creation process is not like we have thought. Where we assumed, where we thought God, some entity, a superpower, just spoke and things happened instantaneously with perfection. Bang. Creation is a process. There's a process to creation. There's a process to create. And that process is iterative. And creation builds upon itself to bring forth itself in its creation, the seed of the Most High, no longer being something of a perfectionistic nature that's untouchable, that's unknowable. For you're the mind of God. The mind of God is you, your mind of. Why do you think it's separate? Because you've been taught it is. We've been taught since birth that our nature is corrupt, worthless, unworthy. Our righteousness is as filthy rags. We've been taught wrong. We've been taught to be animals or with an animalistic nature, a base nature. But we didn't always have that. We weren't always like this. We weren't always brutal to each other. Before God existed, we did, because God is a concept. God is a mental deity, no matter what you name him, her, Betty, Joe, Susie, Ralph, Yahweh. When you're willing to go beyond the symbols that so many have concretized, so many people want to just study the symbol, relate to the symbol, worship the symbol, bow down before the symbol, worship God. That's all about your image. It's about your image of God that you have constructed in your mental suffering to see separation, divesting yourself from it not, but embracing the separation so that you suffer in silence and brutality in the creations of others that create words to give you images to keep you from being you. The creation process is messy. I didn't say sloppy. But in creation, you're not following a preset formula. You're learning. You're developing. You're creating something. And that's why I've named this school so many names over the years. It's been in process. The school of me, the school of you, school of God, school of the new covenant, school of Christ, school of God. We build, you see, we learn. We construct a tabernacle, not in the wilderness, not again, no longer in separation from who we really are, the ability, the conquered, not, or are we constructing one now faster than light to be us? You see, the Creator creates, and because we have suffered so, sometimes in silence or at the hands of another, the brutality of words, we think we're not God. We think we're limitless, not. We think we're the limited, the infinite, not. We think we're a very finite creation dependent on the mercy of some God somewhere or some government. And we cry out for the favor of God, for the healing power to be manifest in our lives, our children, our parents. And we cry out. In ignorance, we've cried out. And we've created the separation that has created us to be the separates, needing a God, needing something else to believe in because we think we're pitiful, pathetic, poor, driven out of the promised land. We don't think we're special. Not in an arrogant sort of way, but you are special. To me, to you, to us, to millions. You see, we knew each other before time began. Because time is a construct. Time is a fabrication of classical physics, or does classical physics describe us? No longer. Because we're spirit. Consciousness. In the classroom of consciousness, the classroom of spirit. Is spirit your consciousness? Are you conscious? Are you coming alive? Are you creating something upstairs? Not off yonder somewhere, but in your temple, your tabernacle, your refuge, no more to be solidified in it. Are you changing where you go, what you do, how you learn, who you connect with, and what you see? Is the abominable snowman not, or are you no longer snowball in hell waiting to melt? Or are you changing all of your metaphors, similes, like, as? What words are you using as symbols no longer for a God or a somebody separate or a higher power? Or are you willing to learn to create? These are some pictures that I made with AI that I share. I've shared many of them before. I don't have all the answers, but I'm a creator. And I'm creating me again this way. You see, every time I talk, every time I teach like this, every time I open this little YouTube app and press go live, I'm creating me anew. I'm creating more contacts. I'm creating more connections, different neural pathways. Begin to seek and to save not, but begin to be religious no more. I'm no more pathwaying God to be separate from me, us, one. The creation, the creator, the createds, the canvas, the painter, the teacher, the student. What was the beginning of all of this? My quest to know God intimately, not just about God, but to know God, to walk with God, to be God's friend, to know God's voice. I knew about Enoch and Abraham, and I studied Elijah, Elisha, Isaiah, Jeremiah, the New Covenant. But then in 2003, there was a reckoning knot. There was a construction process that began. I've never said it like that. So in March of 2003, I began to write the first person words of God. But I had no precedent for it. I had no guidelines. There were no teachers who would teach me to write the first person. But I did. I began to teach me, the voice of me, the God in me, not the God that I thought was in me, that I connected with, that began to teach me that I was it. I was no longer in separation. I had become the covenant one. I was listening. I was becoming the Word, becoming the living Word. The living Word flowing through me constructs not a tabernacle of righteousness in man's eyes, but in God's eyes, or who God is, or who God was, or what we were before God existed as a separate entity. A school is coming forth unlike anything you've ever imagined, where syllables don't dominate, and the lexicon is not religious, and the diction and grammar is no longer controlled by you or anyone else. This is a school of the Spirit that's not separate from our consciousness and our creativity, our creatability, our consciousness. You see, here's one of me teaching. But where's it going? Where are these words going? Into you? Into where? Your temple, your consciousness. What will you create with them? Will you be fools no more for other people's words that limit you, conquer you, destroy you? Will you begin to construct your temple of light? The temple of light that is in you, the temple of light that is you. You see, construction, creation. Creation is a messy process. Coming out of the old, creating the new, metamorphosis, breaking free from all the trained thought that we've existed in, where we've trained each other to be beneath, to be poor, to love ignorance, to rely on God. Can you imagine a school where everybody in school exists to help everybody in school? Think about it. Ponder. I love that word, ponder. Remember the narrative of the story. So some say, an angel came to Mary, said, Mary, you're going to conceive. She said, well, how will this be since I know not a man? And the story goes, the Holy Spirit, the Word. The Word, you see, the Word is the seed. The Word will conceive. The Word is conceiving in you now as you ponder it. It's not an instantaneous production. It's not just speak a word and something appears as a finished product, all gleaming and just the way you want it. It's a process. It's a process of creation. And there's another way to live. There's another way to create. There's another way to connect. This is the school of God where you don't die in it, where you no longer appoint each other to death, where you're no longer critiquing, classifying, comparing, competing for a grade, for a diploma, for a degree, for the approval of some committee or some professor, somebody external outside of you. You're responsible to you. This is the school where responsibility lies with you, lies directly at your feet. That's no more lying to you about you and who you are, because you are God in flesh. If you will learn that, if you will learn to be it, you are God in flesh. Let's call it what it is. Call you what you are. You are God in flesh. We haven't known it. We've robbed each other from our own consciousness and our own ability to see with our own eyes that are not limited by these eyeballs in our head. Imagine a school that operates completely differently. This is the school of God. No more animistic toward each other or abominations of desolations or whatever you think exist in you or somebody else's future. It's all changing. And the knowledge of one will be holy unto a holy, sacred, divine God, not again. It's all of us becoming who we actually are. Arrogant, not again. But no longer embracing our separation. We open the door for each other. We live to love. We live to love. University of Light, love, joy, and peace. University of the New Covenant. I am woman. I am man. I am my word. You see, I'm becoming my living word. That's why I speak. That's why I started speaking, channeling, when I began to write the first person words of God back in March of 2003. I knew something very special was going on. I had no encouragement, but I'm encouraging you. I exist now. I've birthed the opening of me, and I'm coming out in you, who will be it to be the birth of you. in the Word, the living Word, where you create the concepts, not constructing it from afar, not worshiping from the base of the mountain another God, but being it, being who you are in your shoes, the mind of God complete, where you sever it no longer to cry out to it, to heal you, bless you, give you favor. You're the mind of God. You're the heart of God. Not this blood pumping muscle. You're a lot more than what the eyes can see. The living Word be. The living Word, let the Word conceive you, that you are bringing forth through your own lips, where you, the conceiver, are the conceived. No longer conceited or deceived by you. I've really enjoyed making a lot of these pictures. Many a times frustrating. But there's so much more to the story. You are a heart of God. You're not separate. You don't need a vicarious atonement. You don't need somebody else to save you. There's no soon coming king that's going to split the skies through the eastern gate and be your Messiah, giving you a pre-made heaven for you to walk around and be blissful, playing your harp or whatever you think you're doing. You're created to create. You created you. We are our creation, and we're creating again. We're becoming the creators of us, no longer creating a God myth, a God idea, a God narrative, a narrative of separation that we then empower with our own power, thinking that has power over us, empowering that icon, that symbol, to give us something, deceiving ourselves. So a long time, years, I call this the University of the New Covenant. And see, no matter what you think of God, are you willing to free you from the concepts that everybody else has constructed of you, in you, for you to be subject to it? Are you willing? To rise? Are you willing to experience the resurrection before you die? Like Jesus did. See, there's so much more to the story. And you're it. The story is about you. When you really want to know who was in that basket, the straw basket, somebody covered with pitch and put the baby and sent it down the river? Or was it you in the cave? Was your name Lazarus? Were you Christ? Were you Jesus? Or will you simply be you? Catherine? Kathy? George? Susie? Are you willing to be who you are, no longer in separation of your spirit, the Spirit of God, the consciousness, the Creator, to be the created creation of you, creating you again, to see where you are, who you are, what your capacity is? It's an iterative process. It's a daily process. It's a process of creation. And the process of creation is not sloppy, but messy, because it takes time. It takes effort. It takes surrender. And we are not in isolation of each other. We're coming out to be who we really are, creators, learning to create. Where God is no longer a myth that's static, an unchanging God that's unknowable. All of the idea, the mystery of Christ, all of that mystique and mysteriousness is just waiting for you to grow up. It's all there. All the wisdom of God, all the wisdom of the universe, energy, creation is within you. It is not within your grasp. It is within you. And when you're willing to surrender, to grow into the door that you open in you, where you begin to see your own living word, your own power, the capacity of you, spoken word, living memory, not living the future, bringing it here, being a part of the future now, no longer the past oriented to, that keeps you demented, giving you dementia. A process of connection, the process of creation. Trust, learning to trust. Care, learning to care. Care about those that you've had no value for. You thought were ugly, sinful, lower than you. Cast outs, lepers. Jesus said, if you believe in me, you will do the things that I do and greater. Think you have to work for a living? Work like a dog? Work in the cubicle? Praying for a 5-cent raise, 5 cents an hour, 5%, hoping for crumbs from the rich man's table. When Jesus said, I have meat that you know not of. Symbolically, literally, both and. More to the story. I have meat to eat that you know not of. Jesus fed the 5,000, right? With 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. 5,000? So his eyes were not limited to what we see because he saw through the veil. And learned how to understand. His starting point was just like us, a commoner. Whether you think he landed on earth, came out the womb, he had to learn. His name, the language, the culture, the customs. And he became what so many call the Christ. But that certainly had not much to do with being a Christian religion, the stagnant. You are the creator. Create now you. You are the mind of God, who love is, unconditional love, not the kind that sits you down and gives you a list of demands and tells you your righteousness is filthy rags and you came into this world corrupt and you're DNA is worthless. I am no longer limited by the DNA of man. And I ask you to be not, because I'm inviting you to be the living word in the school of God, where you become the teacher of you, that is you, who you are, where you become faculty, staff, and student in your school. And this is what my school is all about, the school of schools, for you to create the school of you, where you begin to learn from the living word that nobody can incarcerate you from. You're no longer tethered to their tactical methods and the strategy of their control. I love you. I go now. My name is TheodoreCottingham.com. I'm creating, and to create creates change. Where you begin to embrace change and you begin to be open to things you never knew. Some things may be scary. What will you do with all that power? The power to change light into sound, sound into light, change the form of energy. See, not limited to the two eyes in your head. Begin to learn to be conscious without the veil. The veil of death, the veil of life. The veil separating the infinite and the finite. I've asked a lot of things, and I ask for you to deal with these questions. I'm not being rhetorical. I'm asking you to ponder these questions and create within you the created creator, where you become one and the same, where you begin to ponder. You begin to strategize. You begin to learn how to surrender. To who? You. How do you surrender to you? You begin to surrender to a learning process where you begin to value your words. You begin to care about your promises. You begin to embrace the integrity, not of something that sounds charming, but the integrity of your living word. Feel like God is talking with you. Feel like you're stirring, feeling like the spirit of something is conveying something to you. Write it down. Get a pad. Get a paper. Keep a pen and paper with you at all time. A little device to make notes on. Notes, date them, care about them, assemble them, because you're assembling your creation. It's a process. You don't just get up one morning and say, let there be light, and you're a light person resurrecting to do all the works in the sky around the earth. You're creating you. And it's a process. And this is school. This is the process of the new and living covenant, the everlasting covenant, the new covenant, the covenant that is not stagnant, never has been stagnant. And if you think God doesn't change, then you don't know God. God of love, the creator, the unconditional, is creating all the time. Creating all the time means there is ever change. And change is the constant, because we're no longer concretized in the image of other people's minds that we're embracing, because we've begun to flow the living word that comes through each and every one of us, who will learn the learning system of faith, not but being the face of God in your mirror with your name. Right here on your forehead. God. Susie. Ralph, Betty Joe, James, no matter what language you speak, no matter what color you are, no matter what you've done, been. I forgive you. Or do you forgive you and those around you? Where you begin to ponder, how can this be that I am God? Ask yourself, please, how can it be that I was so stupid or so ignorant? Or was I just cast out? Or did I sever myself from heaven? Did I sever myself from the cosmos? Was I a being of light that surrendered my power to be my own creation down here on earth, limited to earth, thinking I'm a dog or whatever I am that needs a God? Being brutal to each other? Are you willing to ask? If you're not willing to ask, are you willing to be in school? And if you're not willing to be in school, you're arrogant. The school is inside of you. The school of me. The me school is inside of you. The school of me, school of God, the school of you. The school of me onyx. The school of me onyx. That's a word I never heard of until I channeled it. And this is the school of meonics, the school of God. The matrimony to meonics. The matriarch, the creation of one bringing forth. And parthenogenesis. You, the virgin, bringing forth the seed of the child who grows up in you, of you, that you are, the teacher, the teachee, the student, the faculty, all together one. Not a conceptual boondoggle, no longer the bifurcation of flesh and the static gender. This is of the Spirit. Not by might, not by power, but my Spirit saith the Lord. Who's the Lord? Who's the symbol? Who's the renegade? Who's the rogue? Who are the fallen angels? Were we? A race of creators that fell into our own creation. I ask, you answer. Thanks for being a part of this school. If you're really in the school, I encourage you to act like it, to be it. Care for these words. A classroom lecture. Pen and paper. Record these. Write down the questions that I ask for you to answer. If you have homework, don't you care? Or are you just listening? Voyeuristically? You just want to look, see? Or will you ponder? See, pondering to me is a creating process. The process of creation where you begin to consider and you begin to let love speak, be made known within you by thoughts. Thoughts that no longer cast you out of its kingdom of perfect love, where you're no more controlled by all these words that have been given to you all your lives. You begin to live the living word of love, love that's unconditional, for you, with you, to you, through your voice, through your words that emanate, radiate, and proclaim that God is dead, not God is you who will be it, not even needing the name. Before there was any name, we were it. You were one. And the oneness of redemption will no more need redemption by anyone else for any of us except for us redeeming us in perfect surrender to be who we really are, no longer trying to be religious and embrace the concepts to be acceptable in someone else's eyes. I go now. I hope you've enjoyed it. But that's not the object. That's not the objective. The only reason I live is to bring forth the word. To keep you from yours no more, but to encourage you to open up the flow of the living word so that you begin to channel you like this, where you begin to be no longer afraid of the eyes of man, woman, or the words of other people, where you begin to share, where you begin to pick up your pen and write the first person words of God, no matter what your name for God is. But let's call it perfect, unconditional love. Not the kind that keeps tabs on you and creates a hell if you don't please it. There's so much more to the story. My name is Theodore Cottingham.com. I may be changing that too. The School of God, School of Light, Love, and Peace. Will you, the school of you, bring forth in you the new covenant? And baby, be no longer that throws you out with the bathwater. Let the cleansing of your word, the water washing of the word of you, that brings forth new miracles now, for you to believe not, for you to increase in faith not, but to be the living miracle who does the miracles now in the earth. Loving all equally, I love you all. TheodoreCottingham.com. What have I said? What is this lecture been about? The creation, the creator. It's a messy process. Messy? You want precision? You want perfection? You want instantaneous gratification? Oh, I get it. Yeah, me too. But creation is not recreated instantly. You want to birth a new heaven, a new earth? It's all yours. It's all there within you. Free the word. Be the living word. Who teaches you through you. This school teaches you. There's homework. You can find it. You can find it in the Bermuda Triangle knot, the Meonics Triangle knot. But Bermuda, are you going to, or are you no longer the Archimedes principle, subject to, or do you know anything about it? Euclidean? Euripides? Do you know anything about normal law, that you're no more subject to the electromagnetics of failure? You see, when you begin to channel without controlling it, there are many funnies, because there's a humor in God. No, there's a humor in unconditional love. Comics, comedy. In the words I've channeled are many songs, many puns, a lot of fun as well as a lot of things forewarned about. Meonics. The study of meonics is what you study in my school to begin to create in your school. In creating the courses, in the course you come into, is the School of Meonics. And the Meonics Manual, I call it now. Today I changed it, the Meonics Manual, the first 2,400 lessons that I channeled over a period of about 5 years. It's more than 3 times the size of the Bible that so many have embraced. But the Meonics Manual is for you to look up and begin to study, for you to create a new identity of you, where you are no longer the trash, the ragged, hoping for a few bucks more from the rich man's table. There's more to the story. And when you're anxious, but when all of the angst of the world, all of the anxiety, and all of the panic attacks that everybody has, and all the brutality ceases, when you care to control what is inside of you by your love, so that you defeat the words that have given you this reality. When you're desperate enough to see your light, feel your love, and create you anew, you can come to the school. Where is it? Inside of you. Where will I be? I don't know. Will I be doing this? I don't know. Will you? Create within me, you. Or will we share a consciousness of creation? One spirit, consciousness. Force, magnetic, not, or are we changing how the molecules spin? Or are we no more spun around the theories of mankind? Ask yourself these questions. Share these words. Begin a share group. Ponder them. Live my love. Love love. Know the difference between God of the Bible, God of unconditional love. Learn who you really are and know that your mind has never been separate from unconditional love that knows not the brutality of pain and suffering to inflict on each other anymore. I give you me. I give you God. I give you Database One. I give you the Meonics Manual, the Meonics Covenant. You can go online. You can begin searching it today. This is school. I am not entertainment. TheodoreCottingham.com. You click on the Meonics Manual. You put in what you want to search on. Name of a country, the name of your God, whatever you want. The search term may or may not be indexed. Pardon. But it's a database of over 4 million words that I've channeled that became the Meonics Manual. This is school. Love you and live for love. Nothing else is worth living for, is it? And then dying. Resurrect, my friend. Lazarus, come forth. Be the Christ. Be the resurrection. Understand the symbol and no longer be the separated that someone else has created you to be because of their words. Be the living word. I go, TheodoreCottingham.com. You can write me at Box 34. Send me a check. You can help. That'd be great. I don't beg. I offer. You can study what I've channeled on my website. There's over 2,000 posts. And on this YouTube channel, it's over 2,000 videos. A lot of data, a lot of information. When you decide to exist no longer in the form that has incarcerated you to this earth, being a finite race subject to money, when you're ready to heal your brethren, the people you like, the people you don't like, when all the people of the world are as valuable to you as your hand, your finger, your love, your family, where you care about who's in famine, when you care, are you willing to no longer condemn, point the finger, talk about who's at fault? We become the new creator and do all the things that Jesus did and more in your flesh now, learning how to be the new beginning of. This is my regimen, not. This is my declaration of me anew. The school of God going forth and all who will be it. I love you all. Allow the teacher to teach you from within you that you have never been separate from the love of unconditional love itself, nor its power, grace, or beauty. You're the one, hon. I love you all. Good day. TheodoreCottingham.com. Theodore Eureka at Gmail, if you want to write me. I love you all. See you later. Good day. Thank you.